Yeah, I don't like to.
So, oh no, you're fine. So we'll just have these as reference. There's ice in this one, water in this one. So if there was a cup filled to the top with water and it had ice in it, when the ice melted, would the cup overflow?
It depends how close to the top the water is already.
Like filled to the top.
Like to the point where it's already like, because there's surface tension of water which won't allow it to go over a certain amount because it'll like literally like stick to the rim and then it'll like overflow where you'll see a little bit of water on top of the cup, but it won't overflow out of the cup because it'll stick to the outside because of adhesion. I think it would overflow if it's filled to the brim and it's already like breaking that adhesive barrier and it physically doesn't have anything else to grab onto without overflowing. But like I said, it probably depends on how much water you already had in it.
So like if it was to the breaking point of where it would spill over.
I think it would overflow.
And why would you say that?
Just because when ice melts, they're logistically that means that there should be more water entering the system of the liquid state.
And so when you say more water entering, where's that water coming from?
The ice, which is still water, but it's in a solid form. It's not the atoms that are making up the solid water are not interacting with the liquid water like completely because they're still in the solid state. So there's still some that are packed into that like super tight, like this, like these little cubes. They're packed super tightly together. That's why they're solid, because nothing can pass through them while they're like bonded so closely. But as that like loosens up, as they melt, there should be more atoms added to the overall system of water around it.
And so, interesting. Good reference too to the cube. So you said like solids and liquids. Like how would you distinguish the two of them?
A solid is any collection of atoms or molecules that are like tightly packed together with like high energy, where they're moving very quickly, but they're not moving in a lot of space. They're moving in a very, very small amount of space. Like I said, this cube would be a solid because all of these single pieces are packed together in a way that there's not enough space in between the bonds for any other molecules to pass through. But a liquid would be as if these got broken apart and they were able to like basically flow amongst each other and bond temporarily, but they're not like held together by this like high energy squish, I guess I would say.
So what would you say about like water, for instance, changing from solid to liquid?
Water changing from a solid to liquid is the hydrogen bonds of like the individual water molecules are breaking, and they have the opportunity to bond and to connect and disconnect from each other and like reconnect to other ones, as opposed to being stuck to like a closed system of bonds around it in a solid.
And would you say like the solid form of something takes up more or less space than the liquid form?
Less space.
Less space?
Yeah.
Why would you say less space?
Because the fact that it's a solid is because the atoms or molecules are tightly packed together in a small space. That's what defines it as a solid, is all the atoms are like very close. But a liquid, the atoms have an opportunity to flow freely, which occupies more space. That's why you can put like 3 ice cubes and like it'll stay in the bottom of a cup, rather than like if you pour a little bit of water, it'll spread out through the whole like bottom part and on the sides of the cup, rather than like a single cube in the middle.
And so you said like it would take up more space.
The liquid.
And that's because of why? Because it spreads?
Yeah, because the atoms are able to like spread out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was good.
I know why it doesn't overflow, because solid, when you freeze something, it expands, therefore when it melts, it actually is shrinking and the cup doesn't overflow. Am I right?
Yeah, water is actually the only thing that expands when you freeze it.
Really?
It's water.
Well, in Coke, well, I guess that's water with flavor.
Yeah, water is really wonky because it doesn't follow a lot. Like the fact that ice, solid water floats on water, that's only water. Water is the only thing that does that.
And so, so what would you say? Oh no, I'm keeping this all in here. So what would you say for like, for instance, like there's ice in the cup of water. and it takes up a certain amount of space. So what would you say about like how you said when you pour the water in the cup and it spreads out? What if you were to freeze that water that's spread out? Would it change into like an ice cube?
No, it
Or
would
would it
freeze.
stay
It
in
would
that
freeze.
same
It
amount
would
of
freeze
space?
where it is in the space, or it should freeze in the same amount of space. Or like she said, it would expand because water crystallizes when it goes into a solid state, which is unique to water as well. The fact that it crystallizes, and that's why we like have water bottles pop when you put them in the freezer.
So let's say like you poured water into this cup, this much, put it in the freezer, and that turned into ice. Then you filled it up with water. When that melted, would it overflow?
Well, given the logic that she provided, which is correct, no.
Sorry.
That's not a bad thing.
No,
at
that was
all.
good.
Education is like the best thing ever.
Honestly, you know what made me think about it and have my answer?
What?
Is this someone recording us?
Oh, you do have two.
What?
Give me 1 second.
I had rabbits growing up, and we would always, they stayed outside, so in the summer or like the hotter days, we would freeze 2-liter bottles, and you could never fill it all the way to the top because when they freeze, they would bust in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would freeze them, but we would never fill it up to the top so that it wouldn't bust, and we could put it outside and they could lay on it during the hot sun.
Yes.
So if you
Using
ever have
real world
rabbits-
experiences.
Yeah, you're completely right. Water's super weird. I had to literally spend like 4 weeks studying the molecular properties of water.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Okay, last question. So, from what we just talked about, and like from if you filled the water up and the ice and the ice froze like here, and it took up the same space as the cup, and then it melted, why would that be different from if it was in an ice cube form?
Yeah,
When it melts, it wouldn't be different.
I would just check
I was
that.
incorrect when I said that the ice cube would make it overflow.
Come out for a couple more times. All right. Yep, no problem. Take care.
Okay, cool.